I'm just gonna quickly today talk a little bit. I'm gonna talk a little about those tenses. We're gonna start with present simple, present continuous, and I'm sorry if this is boring for some of you, but we're gonna do a quick revision. I'm pretty sure you've all heard about it, but we're gonna do a revision and a reminder when to use them, how to use them, because even though you express your opinions nicely, you use some nice vocabulary, it still sometimes can ruin your nice sentence if you really make some basic tense mistake. So I'm going to start today with present simple, present continuous. They are the most common and most used, well, present simple especially, tenses I can say in English, okay? So first one is present simple, okay? Present
Okay.
simple, as the title says, is talking about the present, consists of subject. Subject, because we talked about it, the subject we talked about last time, it can be a pronoun. Actually, let's start with a noun or pronoun. So it can be Basma, Hajer, he, she, it, anything. And verb one or verb, base verb, or infinitive without to. You can find a lot of definitions of this verb. It just means the basic verb without any s, ing, ed, anything. That means the verb run, jump, sleep, study, just basic one. Sometimes, however, and we will see in which cases, this verb one gets an S in the end. Okay, I'm going to put it in blue because it's only in the cases when the subject is he, she, or it. Okay, but the basic is you have just subject and one verb. Okay, we will actually do the examples later. First, what I want to know to tell you is when we use present simple. Present simple we use for habits, routines, and fact. Okay? Habits, routines, and facts. Habits and routines can be very similar, but not necessarily. We use them to say something that repeats itself occasionally. Because it repeats, we have in present simple something that is called adverbs of frequency. Okay? That means those are the words, whenever you see them, you know for sure that you're going to use present simple. And they say how often something repeats itself because it's habits, routines. Routines repeat themselves, right? So we always start with every day, always, sometimes, rarely, often, occasionally, never, every day, every, oh, we can say every day, every week, every year, month, etc., etc. Then we can say something like once a day, week, month, or year. And the same goes for twice a year, twice a day, twice a week, twice a month, every Ramadan. I'm saying this for you because it's always also a routine. Every Ramadan, we buy new clothes, right? Or every Ramadan, we cook special dishes. Every New Year's Eve, you get the gist of it, right? So any repetitive activity that happens once in a while or regularly every day is expressed with present simple. That means past on the left, the moment right now here in the middle, and the future on the right. That means that our present simple would look something like this. Okay, I'm putting different different frequencies because it can be different. For example, it's easy to say every day. I brush my teeth every day, right? Present simple, it's my routine. But I cook sometimes. So it's not regular. So it can be I cook today and then after 5 days and then after 10 days and then after a month and then again in 2 days and then in 5 days. So it can change. It doesn't have to be regular. Okay, that's important thing. Many people think it only if it's every day, it's present simple. No, literally any of these adverbs of frequency, when it's used with present simple. So it indicates that this thing happens once in a while, sometimes, often, rarely, occasionally. Okay, so that would be the basic of the present simple. Let's stop here and just to ask, like I mentioned, however, we add s only if the subject is he, she, and it. That means subjects such as I, you, we, and they gets a regular verb. So I, like I said, brush my teeth every day. You call me rarely, or you rarely call me, right? We have English classes twice a week, and they regularly do their homework, for example. So the verbs here, as I said, and I'm going to repeat it, are simple: brush, call, have, do, right? Simple, no complications. However, if the subject, she watches TV every night, she cleans her room once a week, or it rains every May, meaning the weather. The subjects are he, she, and it, singular, and we always add s or es to this. Okay? What, for some reason, and I still don't know why, a lot of students somehow and for some reason think that verb ing is frequently used in English, and it actually not. We're going to talk about it in a minute, but all these routines, whenever you say whatever you do, even these days during Corona, it's expressed with present simple. So that means I wear my mask, I don't go outside, I take care of my mother, I cook for my family. Everything is present simple. Even if you don't use these adverbs, that means regularly. That means you do it daily, weekly, like whenever it's necessary. Okay, it doesn't even matter how often. If it's regularly, you use present simple. Okay. Before we continue, I'm just going to quickly explain how we make questions. Questions are and negative include auxiliary verbs. Auxiliary verbs means a helping verb because in the cases such as present simple, when we only have one verb, main verb, we need help. We need help to make questions. So that means we use do or does. Does obviously for he, she, it, then subject, then verb simple or verb one. I will call it verb one, it's easier. Okay, and then the rest of the sentence, and of course question mark. While negative sentences are made with subject, do or does, again auxiliary verb, not obviously, or doesn't, don't, and verb one. Okay, so this do or does is used only in present simple. That's why it's called auxiliary verb. Whenever you see it, you know that we are using present simple, because you will see later on in the past we use did, and in others we use other auxiliary verb. I don't want to rush it.
Miss,
Yes.
I just want to ask about have. We are using just have or sometimes have to.
Good question. They have two different meanings.
So,
Have to. I love when you ask questions, but then you make me explain something different. Have to is a modal verb.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna give you an example. The verb have, as it is, usually indicates possession, and actually it has many, many meanings. For example, you can say, I have a cat. You own a cat. But we also say, for example, I have a headache. Okay? Or I have a meeting. Right? You don't own a meeting, but you need to attend it. There is a meeting that you need to attend. So this verb have can have many, 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 many meanings. Only have. Okay? And in this case, have, it's a verb. Just a verb to have. Okay? To have. This is its infinitive, right? And we can change it. The verb to have is irregular. That means, so to have, this is its infinitive form. In the past, it's has.
Has.
Had is past participle. No, has is present simple for he, she, it. Had is past and also past participle. So it changes irregularly. This is regular verb. Have to, on the other hand,
For example, I have to worry. My
that's
mother
why I'm
has
trying,
a
yeah.
serious disease.
Yeah, but it's not a good, you don't have to worry. You just worry. Have to is called modal verb. Modal verb because it modifies a main verb. That means it has to be followed by another verb. For example, I have to study. Okay. The modal verb here would be have to. And then you have a main verb, study.
Study.
Okay. In this case, it is obligation. You have to do it. It's mandatory. For example,
Mandatory.
people have to wear masks in public, right? You have to do it, otherwise you can get a fine of 1,000 riyals, right? So
Yeah.
have to is a modal verb. To have is a main verb, and it has many, many meanings. Like to have a cat, to have a headache, you have a job, you have a house, you have a husband, you have a fiance. So you have it, like it's yours, right? Have to is always have plus to together, and then followed by a main verb. It's called mod, and it means obligation.
And obligation, the same meaning of mandatory.
Exactly. You have to do something because of some different reasons. Sometimes it will really have some punishment, sometimes you don't. Like I have to study. Nobody's pushing me, but like I want to study, I want to get a good grade. Okay?